calling my boyfriend daddy in front of his parents. Kim told me that it is good I don't plan on having children because I'm heartless. Please God be a troll. What's up, babes? My name is Moran. Welcome to my series Getting Personal, where I gather different stories from Reddit and blah blah blah. You all know the drill, hopefully. If not, welcome, get comfy. We are going through some Reddit stories. As you can see, I'm unwell and I need some pick me up today. And that's what we are doing because the theme of today is just why. Honestly, just why. And without further ado, let's dive in and see what's up. So the first story is my husband just put all of my makeup in resin and I'm seriously contemplating divorce. I honestly don't know where to start. I, female 27, work full-time as a nurse. I'm fairly new, so I'm getting paid just enough to pay for groceries, rent, utilities, etc. My husband also works, but it's part-time at his dad's pool cleaning business, and it's more of a job that he just does so he isn't bored around the house. I'm the breadwinner and I'm completely fine with that. This matters, I promise. I was telling my husband the other day that I wanted to buy a spinning thing from Home Goods or something to put my makeup in instead of the makeup bag I've had since I was like 14. So the next day, while I was at work, he took it upon himself to get all my makeup and put it in a circle dish and pour resin on it. When I got home, I asked him why he was covering it with a towel, not knowing what it was, and he said it was a handmade version of something I've been wanting. I was super excited as I love homemade gifts more than anything store-bought. Today he showed me it and I was pissed. At first I thought maybe he saved up and bought all the products I had, but he quickly told me, no, I just put all your makeup in this. I told him not only do I not have any makeup left, which is something I enjoy doing in the morning or at night before I leave for my shift, but that we can't really afford for me to go buy new stuff right now. He said, oh, I didn't think about that. Sorry. Anyway, and went off rambling about something else. He literally did not give a flying he doesn't understand why I'm so mad, even though I've explained like 10 times that the one thing I look forward to doing before work is ruined until I save up to go buy the makeup again. I said the only way he could make it up to me is to save from his job so I can go buy the makeup, and he said that's dumb and I can live without it. But that isn't the point. I feel bad I'm so upset about something so materialistic when he just wanted to make me a homemade gift. What do I do? I'm seriously contemplating divorce. It's more than the makeup, it's the audacity to do this and react this way when he's not the one who has to buy all this stuff again. Edit, I see a lot of people wondering why he put it in resin. He basically made me one of those spinny things I wanted, but with my makeup in it, so it's more aesthetic in his words. It's so sweet, but I'm so upset I don't know what to feel. Funny note here is that I found the story right after, like the same day after I saw a reel of a man doing this exact thing, and I was hurt. I was hurt just as most of women in the comments. Everyone was wondering if he's still alive. And then I see this story from the wife and I was like, man, I wonder if it's the same couple. And to see that he not only did that, but then refused to understand what he did wrong just makes me want to cry. It makes me want to cry for this woman because she loved doing her makeup and she cannot afford to replace it. And when she got upset and explained it to him, he was just like, yeah, no, whatever. Like, dude, you caused this damage. Now you have to rectify it. Okay, maybe you had chivalrous and very beautiful intentions, but in the end, you up. So now please go ahead and fix it. And he doesn't seem to care. He's like, yeah, whatever. My bad. The top comment here, don't tell him you're looking for a changing table when you'll have a baby. That is a funny joke, but the situation is just very upsetting. Also, yeah, I want to know the thought process in here so badly. Sometimes it just makes me think hours on end. What was this person thinking? And just like, why? Why? Moving on from this horror story to the next one, which is, am I the all for calling my boyfriend daddy in front of his parents. Me, 27 female, and my boyfriend, 28 male, in bed do dirty talk often, and I call him daddy sometimes. Or when we are alone, that's the name I call him. He likes it and has no problem with it. Last night, I was invited to dinner with my boyfriend's parents and his brother. We were all having a nice chat, and I wanted my boyfriend to pass me the salad, so I said, "Pass me the salad, daddy," out of habit. His dad immediately turned his head, and my boyfriend turned red in the face and told me to stop. I asked him, what did I do wrong? And his mom jumped in and said that it was not appropriate. I told her it was not a big deal and that it's just a nickname I have for him. His brother was giggling throughout the whole thing but remained silent. We all just went on and changed the topic until his brother asked my boyfriend, "Could you please pass me the salt, daddy?" I laughed, but my boyfriend looked pissed and went to the toilet after that. I thought everything was okay until me and my boyfriend were getting in it later that night, and when I called him daddy, he asked me not to say it again because it's kind of a turn off for him right now. I argued that no one is watching us, and he replied that he's definitely going to be the joke of the family for now. Well, that made us both not perform well in the end. This is so priceless. He is not gonna live it down with his family, especially not with his brother who went, "Can you please pass me the salt, daddy?" Oh, I will be trolling my bro so hard if I was the brother, and rightfully so. This is so cringy. The most fascinating thing about the story, in my opinion, is that it's not that she said it in the first place, because yeah, maybe it just slipped out of habit, but instead of being like, "Oh yeah, this is awkward, I'm so sorry, this was inappropriate, it just like came out, I will not do that again," and laugh it off, she doubled down. She was like, "There's nothing wrong with it. I don't care. Why do you care? It's totally normal to call my boyfriend daddy in front of his entire family. I would probably die of embarrassment on the spot, so this girl has very impressive set of balls to do that." But also, she was being kind of ridiculous. Anyway, let's see the next story. Am I all for ignoring a crying baby with its mother present in a restaurant and continuing to enjoy my dessert? A few days back, I was out for dinner with two friends. Anne is pregnant currently, 17 weeks. Kim is married for 3 years and currently desperately trying to get pregnant. Because Anne is pregnant, Kim cannot stand the idea of not being pregnant yet, and that is all she can think or talk about. Though it doesn't interest me much as someone who doesn't plan on ever having children, I happen to have developed a good tolerance for pregnancy/child related topics because all my friends are either pregnant or parents. During dinner, they spoke only about pregnancies and childbirth, where I was hoping to catch up on other topics. I couldn't get them to talk about anything else despite politely and subtly trying to change the topic several times. But as I understand that these topics interest them more now, I very politely contributed to the conversation where I could, otherwise I left them talk as they pleased. A baby started crying in our vicinity and kept crying for a while even though the mother tried to calm it down. It didn't seem hurt in any way, it seemed to be a normal cry for a baby. I noticed it start crying because it was loud and then didn't notice it anymore. I know it was crying because that's what my friends kept talking about, but I tuned it out and went back to savoring my dessert. The crying was like background noise to me. But then my friends noticed how I'm enjoying my dessert and not contributing to their conversation about how sad they feel for the baby and how it's making their heart ache. As in, they were having some sort of physical reaction to the baby crying. I tell them that I don't hear the baby cry anymore. They asked me if I had a hearing issue, so I explained how it was like background noise to me after the first 10 seconds. Both of them looked at me in horror and pity. Kim told me that it is good I don't plan on having children because I'm heartless and that my baby would be unlucky to be my baby. Anne said that she pities me that I'll never know the feeling that they both had. I laughed at their comments because I thought that Kim wasn't very serious about her comment, and Anne is going through a few hormonal changes with her pregnancy and deserves some leniency regarding what she says to me. But they both got mad at me. According to them, it wasn't something to laugh about. Neither of those comments bothered me at first, but after I posted about it yesterday, I received a lot of comments telling me that they are not good friends. I argued in their favor because of their difficult situations. They are emotionally having a tough time, but after what happened today, I'm not so sure anymore. Kim texted me today saying that I need to start showing a little more concern towards crying children if I am to spend time with her future children. When I asked her if my heart should ache every time a strange child cried just because I have a uterus, she called me an asshole. So am I the asshole for ignoring that crying child? I gotta admit, I've never seen anything this absurd in my life. How is this supposed to work? We don't have inbuilt heartache mechanism for child suffering. The only thing I personally feel when I hear a child crying is irritation at worst and indifference at best. It's crying, okay, how is that my problem? How is that supposed to make me sad? Like, if the child is hurt, obviously, okay, as with any human being or an animal, I would be kind of like, yeah, this is a bummer, this is not great because it's another living soul suffering. But like, if a child is crying like children often do, how is that supposed to make me sad? I'm not processing this. And your friends do not sound like good friends, to be honest, because they kind of like ganged up on you over a non-issue. And I get that they are in this stage where they give a lot of importance to motherhood and childbirth and pregnancies and stuff. And yes, one is pregnant, the other wants to be pregnant. That's fair when you are in this stage to want to talk about it, to want to pay more attention to children and stuff, but you shouldn't like bully other people for something this minor, especially when it has no logical foundation. And I get that they probably don't care about the logic in here, but to then get mad at you for not caring about a random crying baby. The top comment here is the fact you even have to ask this is wild to me. No, you're not the asshole. Your friends seem really weird though. And the OP goes, I'm child free. I have never wanted children. In the past few years, I have lost a few friends to parenthood. And when they tried to exclude me from the friend group activities because of my child free status, these two friends always had my back. To have them say these things to me is new. So I thought I'll check if I'm wrong in any way. Yeah, no, you're not in the wrong at all. The fact that you even put up with all these conversations and politely try to even take part in them makes you a very good friend, because honestly, I would probably be getting a bit more distant from my friends if the only thing they kept talking about is children and stuff, because yeah, I get it's an important part of your life now, but at the same time, friends are supposed to be like a mutually pleasant relationship, and if you are so into your child that you cannot talk about anything else and cannot recognize that it's not something I want to talk about all the time, then maybe it's not a good period of life for us to hang out. Maybe the friendship expired. The friends in the story are just super duper weird. The next story is my cousin wants to spell their daughter's name as Talaighlagh. My cousin is expecting and we're all happy for her, especially me since we're close in age and practically besties. She decided on the name Talaighlagh. Honestly, I thought it was unique and cute and thought it was spelled the same way it was pronounced, so I congratulated her. Yesterday, she was showing me her custom baby blankets that had the name Talaighlagh on it. So I asked about the spelling of the name, if it was a mistake, but she clarified that it was correct. and she wants to spell it as Talaighlagh because it's more bougie that way. I was shocked and I said that was a terrible spelling, but she got upset because she thought that I knew about the spelling all along and now I'm backstabbing her. I already apologized for the misunderstanding because to me it's something not worth a fight. My main issue is how I can talk her out of that bougie spelling before it's too late. This is my first time posting on this sub. It seems fitting because that name is a tragedy and she's not changing her mind. I think you're being a good friend and future auntie by pointing out that the spelling is a little bit cray cray. I don't for the life of me see how this is more bougie, but okay, the name is fine, but the spelling is absolutely unhinged. We have an update. Some info. My cousin dropped out in year 11 of high school and her baby daddy isn't in the picture. Also, I'm 18 and she's 22. Here is what happened. I went to my cousin's place, we had tea and snacks. Naturally, while chatting, her unborn daughter was brought up. I asked if she was still planning to name her Talaighlagh, and she said yes. So then I told her, I have to be honest with you, it's a terrible name. I think it's a bad idea that you want to name your daughter as that. My cousin got upset after I told her all the reasons why it's a terrible name, like how it sounds like word vomit, it's impossible to pronounce and spell, it could impact her baby's future and resumes, etc. I told her that her child would get bullied at school because of their name. My cousin said that she plans to homeschool slash unschool her daughter so she won't have to worry about bullying. I told her that's a stupid solution to this mess and practically child abuse, isolating her daughter and not wanting her to interact with other people because she knows from the very start Talaighlagh is a terrible name and not acceptable. My cousin said that she wouldn't change her taste to adhere to other people and she had already ordered lots of custom baby stuff like onesies and pillows around $800 worth. I told her that money isn't a problem compared to the name Talaighlagh and for most of the stuff she can ask for a refund. As for unrefundable things, me and the family, even people online, would be more than happy to pay money for them. We just want her to change the baby's name. This upset her because she wants to be independent as a single mom and not rely on other people for money, especially out of pity. Then she said I was doing too much butting in when it's not my place. I got surprised by this comment since we're really close and I helped her a lot after she got pregnant because most of the family members shunned her because she has an unstable life and her baby daddy left her. Though I supported her, to me she's always been an older sister figure. I helped by setting up the nursery, cleaning her apartment, going with her to appointments, etc. I told her she was acting like a and I might as well be her baby daddy since I was with her every step of the pregnancy. She starts crying and says that she doesn't want my help anymore and I'm free to leave like everyone leaves her. I tell her that she pushes people away by her stupid actions and then she cries more. I tell her that she has a choice, either change her baby's name and keep our relationship or she stays with the name Talaighlagh, and I out her to the family. She hasn't told anyone in the family about her baby's name because she knows they won't accept it. She said that she doesn't care about the family members because they didn't accept her when she got pregnant, which is true, though the real reason why the family didn't accept her pregnancy is because she's a dropout and unstable in most aspects of her life. Then I leave and go home. After a couple of hours, I call her and ask her if she has calmed down. She says yes, and she's thinking about what I said. I said, does that mean she's going to change the baby's name? She said, maybe, maybe not. Then I pull my secret card and send her my original post and tell her to read the comments because they're an accurate reaction to her baby's name. She reads a couple of comments and then gets mad at me for sharing her personal stuff online without her consent and says I invaded her privacy and she'll take it to court, etc. Honestly, I got tired, so I just blocked her. Edit, I apologized and she said we'll talk later, so I don't know. There are no more updates, sadly, but I do hope it will come to a happy ending and that the name will be changed, because honestly, the more I read this name out loud, the prettier it sounded. I really think it sounds cool. Talaighlagh. It sounds like very sexy, very aristocratic for some reason, and kind of is a great name, but the way she wants to spell it is unhinged. Imagine the amount of trouble this girl will have in her life, because people will not know how to read that, will not know how to spell that, and she will have to explain it over and over and over again. I think the cousin slash OP was right to try to change the mom's mind, because the child will literally have to live with it forever. And since they are cousins, besties, and she basically did a lot of things during pregnancy, she was helping out, then I don't see why not, and like, why shouldn't she voice her opinion? It upsets me really, really much that the cousin turned around and was like, I'll take you to court for this Reddit post, which she obviously can't. I hope not. That would be completely insane. But maybe that's just the way she is. From all the story and the updates, you can tell that whenever she doesn't like something, she just reacts defensively, and she reacts with anger and aggression, and then kind of processes all of it. And then when she calms down, she starts to think, hey, maybe this person is right. So I hope this is what will happen. I hope she will calm down, come back to Reddit comments, read about how everyone is reacting to this spelling, and then slowly but surely change her mind about it, because the name is super pretty, but that spelling is just a crime against humanity. And like, the fact that she already ordered a bunch of custom clothes is a very bad argument, because it's better to waste $800 than to let your child live with this for at least like 18 years. This is terrible. Let's see the next story. My girlfriend said something that is making me lose my attraction to her. How do I proceed? Typical situation. I, 29 male, have a great relationship with a girl, 29 female. We've talked about getting married slash having kids, etc. But something she said recently is bothering me much more than I thought, and I don't understand it. Basically, we had a few drinks and were talking about random stuff when she replied to something that was being discussed with, well, I like big things. It wasn't really funny, and she was saying it in a flirty manner, but there was an awkward beat before I gave her an out by saying, well, is that why you like me? To which she didn't respond, muttered sorry, and looked away. So it was pretty awkward before the conversation moved on. I chalked it up to a bad attempt to be funny and didn't think much about it, but for some reason it's been sticking in my head and kind of making me unattracted to her. Mind you, I'm consciously not trying to overthink it, because I know her and she's funny but has a miss here and there, so I chalked it up to that, but the awkwardness of it, followed up by the sorry, is just sticking in my head. Of course, important context would be that she said I'm her biggest partner without me asking, but she said a few awkward things like that in the past, and it doesn't feel right. It felt more like she let something slip and hesitated. It's weird, because I gave her an out that she didn't take, and she looked ashamed, so now I'm thinking, what the was that? Normally, I'd overlook it, I think, but there was another time when I asked her if she had ever squirted, and she excitedly responded, I have. Then, when I asked her about it maybe a week later, she said she misunderstood me and hasn't. Again, super weird, because even though English is her second language, she's very fluent, I couldn't wrap my head around what she could have possibly mistaken my question for, and she couldn't verbalize it either. It's also just so weird to answer with such enthusiasm over a misunderstanding. How weird would it be if you asked me if I've been to Cuba and I excitedly said I have, and then 2 weeks later say, oh no, I've never been? The I'm kind of losing my attraction to her because there is nothing more I hate than when girls say weird stuff or let it slip and then backtrack slash gaslight you later. Also, it's just unattractive in general if she's basically trying to subtly let me know she prefers something or someone else to the point where it comes up unprompted. Like, if you like massive dongs, whatever, but if it's such a part of your personality, you have to tell your boyfriend about it, then I'm not into it. So yeah, I don't know, weird, but just wanted to get that off my chest. I don't really know if there is any point in bringing it up to her, but at this point, I have to acknowledge it's affecting the way I feel about her, so I probably should. Thoughts? You know, in my native tongues, there is an expression that goes to make an elephant out of a fly, and that's literally what I see in this story. I am not understanding his problem whatsoever, like at all. It kind of feels like his girlfriend was just trying to flirt with him in the first instance, and then he just made it weird, and he's going like, this is not funny, and she has this hit and miss humor, but it wasn't intended to be funny, to be honest. It just seems like flirting. Like, I will say something along these lines at least like once a week to my husband when I'm trying to like winky face flirt, you know, because yeah, when you say that, you mean, you know, I like big things, meaning I like your. What is not clicking here? It's just plain and simple. And if your girlfriend told you you were her biggest partner, why are you doubting that? Why are you making this such like a complicated conspiracy theory that she's trying to let me know that she likes bigger than mine? It's so weird. It's so weird. It just seems almost like you're looking for an excuse to pick a fight and to say, I'm not attracted to you anymore, so let's break up. And about the squirting, okay, she said she misunderstood. She could have misunderstood, but even if she hasn't, maybe she realized that it might upset you, you know, that she squirted with someone else, but not with you. Maybe it was just an embarrassing story she didn't want to share. And FYI, women can squirt during masturbation as well, so maybe that's what happened with her and she didn't want to elaborate on that or like didn't want to tell you. In any case, once again, you're making it such a bigger deal than what it is. And if the comment about the squirting bothers you, maybe raise it again calmly and ask her like, why did you say it was a misunderstanding? And like try to go over it again from the position of like, you know, I don't think it was very easy to misunderstand that question, and you seemed awfully enthusiastic when you responded, and maybe she will explain her side to you a little bit more. Let's see the top comment. Okay. I'm going to offer the most valuable, expensive, rare, and viciously fought after advice anyone could ever tell you. Just talk with her. Seriously, sit down, sober, discuss how you feel about this, and go from there. By dwelling on this, you'll just be hurting you both. Yeah, that is a good advice. From the OP's comments that I'm not gonna fully read, but you can check them out for yourself if you want to, I can tell that he kind of gets that it's a very strange reaction, and he also says I could trauma dump, but he doesn't want to type too much out, so I suppose that's some kind of trigger. He basically realized that it's an odd thing to obsess over, which I'm glad for, but my initial reaction was like, dude, just why? Anyway, I hope y'all will talk it out and come to some type of understanding. While we are seeing the next story, am I the for telling my coworker that I didn't enjoy my pregnancy? A new coworker started 3 months ago. Let's call her Linda. She seems pretty nice, which is why I'm really not sure about all this. At my work, we have a tradition where once a new employee successfully completes their probation, we go out for a team lunch. Nothing fancy, but something nice to celebrate. Linda passed her probation, so we went out for lunch. As we're eating, we all get to talking, and the topic of the magic of pregnancy pregnancy/childbirth comes up. Everyone was sharing sweet moments from their pregnancy. I enthusiastically joined in, but didn't share any of my own. I think Linda noticed because she specifically turned to me and said, "You had twins, didn't you? That must have been a wonderful experience." I smiled and said something along the lines of how I wished my pregnancy and birth had been as positive an experience as theirs had been. To be clear, it was not said sarcastically at all. The truth is, I hated every moment of being pregnant. I could write a long list of all the magical symptoms I had, but I'll give you the highlights. Horrific, vivid nightmares, hyperemesis gravidarium, severe morning sickness, debilitating migraines, a metallic taste in my mouth, and then the birth. Honestly, I feel like anything that could go wrong, but not be life-threatening, did go wrong. Worst of all, due to some of the complications, I ended up being kept in the hospital for a while, so I missed the first few days with my girls. It's safe to say I hated every moment of being pregnant and every moment of labor. It was not a magical experience by any stretch of the imagination. I didn't say any of this to Linda, I just responded as I mentioned. After my reply, Linda started getting short with me. Later, I asked her privately what was going on. She snapped and told me what I said was insensitive and undermined their experiences and told me I was an for it. Since then, she's sort of cooled off and is less hostile, or at least less openly hostile, but last week she invited all the girls in the team to a ladies' night. Everyone but me. Now, I don't mind so much since ladies' nights are not really my thing, but the fact that she pointedly excluded me has made things awkward. I feel like I need to do something. I'm not really in the mood for drama, I have enough of that in my life right now. I don't need more, so I haven't confronted her about it yet. And as I said, she's otherwise a really nice person, normally pretty friendly and easygoing. So I'm left wondering if I really was an asshole. Was what I said insensitive? Did it undermine their experience? Before I ask her about it, I could use some perspective because I honestly just don't know. Am I the poll. Not in mine and not in Reddit's opinion. And once again, I'm just lost for words and I just want to ask why? Like, just why did this person overreact so hard? With these stories, I kind of want to go to the other person and ask them to explain their train of thought to me. I'm really curious because it's a mystery to me in these cases. What do you mean her not enjoying her pregnancy undermined someone else's experience? That makes no sense. The math is not mathing, the sense is not sensing whatsoever, and she wasn't even like overly dramatic or overly emotional about it. She just said that it wasn't the greatest experience and she wished my pregnancy and birth had been as positive an experience as theirs had been. That's about as nice way you can put it as possible. The top comment here is, "Good lord, so not the I would have wondered if she was pregnant with the way she responded. I also had a very miserable pregnancy and a serious life-threatening event, heart failure, so I can't relate to these stories. You weren't being sarcastic, you weren't telling these women that they sucked for having positive experiences, you didn't call them liars, you just shared your experience. She has shown that she's very petty by excluding you from a ladies' night event. All of this would make me very cautious of working on any projects with her. Good luck." The OP goes, "It might be. The conversation came about because she was talking about how much she wished she was pregnant again. She has a 2-year-old and how she misses being pregnant. Could be she is in fact pregnant, but if she is, she clearly doesn't know it." Oh my god, we have an unexpected update that I didn't know existed. Let's go. I have kept my distance from Linda as recommended by commenters, which has been tough because our work often overlaps and, we're in the same team. Since then, I noticed she has snapped at other coworkers as well. I figured the commenters were right, that now her probation was over, the nice girl act was over. Things were awkward. Then I heard her crying in the bathroom. I didn't want to get involved in case it caused another fight, night, but I also couldn't just leave her there when there might be a problem. So I told Tina, our team lead, who then went to check on Linda. A while later, Tina came back and said she had sent Linda home as she wasn't feeling well. A few days later, Linda came back to work. She asked to speak to me alone. It probably wasn't the best idea, but I agreed to, and I'm glad I did. Linda apologized for how she snapped at me. I asked why she excluded me from ladies' night. She said she didn't invite me to the ladies' night because I had told her I didn't like them. To be fair, I have a vague memory of this coming up in conversation a while ago, but she had something else to tell me. It turns out some of you were right. Linda is pregnant. When she got sent home, her boyfriend asked her to take a pregnancy test because the last time she was pregnant, she got super broody and her mood was all over the place. Being happy one minute, bursting into tears the next, then being super irritable. As bad as she was being at work, she was even worse at home. She took a test and yep, she was pregnant. She told me she wanted me to be the first person in the office to know about it. I guess it was her way of apologizing. I accepted her apology and chose to believe her about the ladies' night, albeit cautiously. I'm still keeping a slight guard up because who knows, for all I know, this is some game she's playing, but for now, I'm choosing to take her at her word. Obviously, her being pregnant doesn't excuse how she spoke to me, but it does explain it, and if that genuinely is the issue, then hopefully that means the issue is solved. Well, I'm happy that she at least realizes that she was rude to you and that she sort of apologized to you. But yeah, I do kind of feel bad for all of y'all the next 9 months, and especially for her boyfriend if that's how her mood swings are. Funnily enough, she misses being pregnant. She wants to go back to being pregnant, but at the same time, she's not very stable when she is. Yeah, that is a tough times, especially for the boyfriend. But she's bringing life into this world, so she can afford being a little bit moody or a lot moody. Of course, that's not an excuse to treat people absolutely horribly, but some leniency should perhaps be fitting in this case. Let's see the last story I have for you today. Am I for opposing my church catering to drunks by holding AA meetings? Every Sunday, towards the end of the service, someone is asked to read the announcements for the week. These cover anything from upcoming events to important deadlines, and they're a great way to stay connected to my faith community. However, one of the announcements read on Sunday made my blood run cold, and I've been struggling with whether to stay ever since. Apparently, unbeknownst to me, several church members have been hitting the bottle way too hard because it was announced that a weekly AA meeting would be starting for members of our community and that we would be hosting. I was baffled by this. Don't get me wrong, I'm all for sobriety and rarely drink myself, but to cater to the town drunks by hosting such a meeting seems like a horrible idea. As I was drinking coffee afterwards with some friends, things went from bad to worse. One of my longtime friends, we'll call him Greg, revealed that he has struggled with alcoholism and some stress at work has made the temptation to drink return. I asked him if he intended to attend the meetings and he said that he's thinking about it. I honestly felt sick to my stomach in that moment. I had long believed that nobody in my church drank to excess, but now I was learning that at least one person who I considered a friend was getting sauced every night. I set up a meeting with our minister earlier today and I relayed my concerns to him. I spoke from the heart and expressed that while addiction is a cruel beast, it seems like something that people should face privately in their own homes, not in my spiritual home. I also told him that I worried that people with substance abuse problems may try and steal church property and wondered if he had thought about beefing up our security system. The Reverend was very diplomatic, but he quickly dismissed my concerns. He said that we shouldn't stand in the way of people bettering themselves. I agree with him, but it's the how that I disagree with. I still just feel shell-shocked. I'm wondering what I'm missing that others are seeing. In the span of a few days, I've learned that my church is hosting AA, at least one friend is a drunk, and the minister has a cavalier attitude about the whole thing. Even my wife says that my reaction is overboard. I just don't know what more I can do. It sucks getting ignored slash belittled just for expressing an alternative opinion. I'm feeling pretty down. Am I asshole? Please, God, be a troll. Because if not, this is straight up evil. What you're saying is basically, I want to take away the help from people with substance abuse, from people that really need it, because I hate them and I don't want them in my church. The account has been suspended, unsurprisingly, and the top comment here says this has to be rage bait. And the second from the top is the comment I think puts everything very nicely. This isn't real, right? If it is, you're what's wrong with religion. People are struggling and you don't want them to have a community to help them through it. You think they should struggle alone, quietly, in their homes. That's how they got where they are. Now they're trying to get help. Often, AA is held in places like churches and community buildings because they have a space and don't charge for it. You are the Yes, you are missing the point of your own religion if you think this way, because aren't y'all supposed to be like helping your neighbor, supposed to be like understanding and charitable and empathetic? No, no. Apparently not when it comes to drunks, but yikes. Why, man? Just why? In any case, this was all I had for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, though I doubt it, let me know in the comments what you thought, and I will see you with another video at some point in the future. Maybe, maybe not. Bye.